That's right. Don't blame yourself. Blame me.
What is up, everybody? Another late night, Micah. Glad to be here. Very glad to be here. Got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. Got some stuff that I wish I didn't have to talk about, but after that is the interesting stuff. So the interesting stuff we'll be talking about Marvel apparently underpaying its writers, something that had completely gone under the radar for me. Plus the some writers leaving for Substack of all things, and whether or not the future really is independent comics. And then we'll be talking about the Suicide Squad, because I actually went and watched it. And there's not going to be any podcast this week, sadly. So I'm about to get a review in tonight. A lot of stuff going on. Optimus Deadpool has been co-hosting this with me for the last few weeks. I don't know if he'll be in tonight. He has not told me. I sent him the link anyway. So yeah. But who else in the chat so far? Let's see here. Daniel Parker's here. Oh, wow. The chat's like scrolling by like crazy. Gabe the Jen. Serena's pissed. And I know why. Crystal Hydra. Montanui. Brainbox. Anime Guy. Didn't get my 3 nights, 4 days at all. You need to email Hatman. So Hatman's email is sleeveless@hatman.net. Shoot him an email. Let him know where we're at. We're halfway fulfilled. So there's a good chance that yours might be some of the few domestic orders we still have to send out. So do that, and then he'll get in touch and let you know where it's at. Let's see here. Son of the Dragon is here. SGD. Damos. Let's see here. Ricky Joy is here. Chunky's here. B-Raptor. I don't think I'm missing it. Oh, wait. Hardboiled. What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing good. All things considered, I ain't doing half bad either. But there is a topic that sadly I have to get out of the way first. Oh wait, there's waistcoats. There's sadly a topic that I have to get out of the way first. I really wish I didn't have to discuss this. I really wish this absolute silliness wasn't going on, but it is. So we're going to address it, and this will be the last time that I probably want to that I'm going to have to talk about this. So, Night of the Living Spergs. Armand. Working. Okay, good. Good, because we got stuff to do. Night of the Living Spergs. This is something that sadly happened yesterday. And caused me a little bit of it caused me an inconvenience. The only real thing I'm upset about is the fact that my fans are upset about it, you know? And at the end of the day, I am a person who gives a shit about his audience and his fans. And I want to make sure that if they are going to be paying me for anything, that their data is secure, that their everything is secure. And sadly, I failed at that a little bit. So apparently a young man named Dean Asyaf, goes by the username DA Talks, told known doxer and Vox Day toady Jonathan Della Rose to get into my Discord server through the Patreon that I have open for those of you who want to give it. I don't know why exactly this came out of nowhere. For me, I don't really care about this crazies, but that is what happened. And of course, John gave the link to other people who got in as well, who screenshotted conversations within the server. Private conversations were not meant for the public. It is a private server. To basically take them out of context to attempt to slander me on social media. Now, by the way, there's Hatman right there. So, Hatman, we had somebody in the chat, Anime Guy, wanting to know where his copy of 3 Nights is. Can you get him taken care of for me? But anyway, so DA Talks, I don't know why he decided to do that. I don't know why he decided to basically give a known doxer food. That's very childish. I don't even think I've ever spoken to the guy. No, wait. I talked to him once, and it was a little bit of a civil back and forth, and that was about it. So I don't know what his problem is. But regardless, that is what happened. Now, Vox Day's toady John Della Rose and his toadies have all been kicked out of the server. I gave them all the boot, but sadly they did get their hands on conversations. So we're going to clarify a few things, and then we're going to talk about why exactly this whole thing is such a mess. So the first thing to clarify is that all the conversations that they got were from months ago, where circumstances were different than the current day. One thing that they tried to do that I saw on Twitter was they were trying to stoke fires between me and Ethan Van Sciver again. Fires that I just recently put out, or at least seemed to put out. And I DM'd Ethan, and I told him exactly what I'm going to tell you guys. The exact wording I don't remember, but to basically put a paraphrase on it, it was that I'm sorry that these assholes are trying to drag you into my problems with them. Because EVS has his own shit to do. He's got a business to run. He's got comics to fulfill. He's still working on Cyberfrog Wreck Planet. You know, he's obviously a busy dude. And you got these spergs on Twitter going fucking crazy because they're mad at me, trying to basically make him talk shit about me. Why? Because it gets some YouTube views. That's it. They need me and Ethan to feud, or else nobody watches their fucking channels. And I know, I've looked. The only time that they're able to get over 1,000 views on something is whenever it has something to do with me. That's basically it. So, yeah. Childish bullshit. And I don't really see why on earth they would want to do it. Thankfully, they didn't get anything of consequence. What really bothers me more so than anything is the attitude. Now, for those who don't know, this all happened on the same day. Another person they're going after is Piper, graded 0.5. Piper, a friend of mine. Apparently, some people tried to say Piper and I, for some reason, aren't friends. She was just on a live stream with me last night, you dumb fucking idiots. But a gentleman named Ron Christensen, I think it is, or Ron Christian or something like that, leaked a DM that Piper had sent to him. And I do have a screenshot of it here. This was actually sent to me by some retard named Wiggle Wiggle. Yeah, Wiggle Wiggle. And hard to remember all these idiots. And basically tried to say that this was evidence of a whisper network. And from what I'm seeing here is Piper saying, my advice is to go through your follower list and check out who makes up your main audience, because when I checked, it was primarily CGers. It's going to be your main customer base, your main word of mouth / promotional potential. They'll want nothing to do with someone who praises anti-CG or people with a history of shit behavior, though. If not, sure, best to promote your own, and then it cuts off. So from what I'm seeing here, this is a DM from one person telling another person not to be an asshole. How is that controversial? How is that evidence of a whisper network? Hey, person who is constantly tagging me and shit, which is what he does. He's constantly been trying to get Piper and, well, actually just Piper to commit to this idea of Peregrine crossing over with his characters like Paragon something or other. I don't know. He probably ripped the name off of Mass Effect, but as it stands, this dude's a crazy person, absolute crazy person. And it seems like the more and more this sort of stuff happens, the more and more unhinged he got. I mean, last I checked, he was doing a GoFundMe to have the funds to go and get the first pages of his book to get to pay for that, and then to put that on Indiegogo. And he wasn't getting any traction. And this is one thing I constantly wonder is why on earth it is that whenever people don't get traction on their shit, they turn into absolute psychos. This is a market, folks. People don't want your shit. They're just not going to buy it. And people don't give a shit about Paragon Prime. Mostly because he was doing exactly what Piper said, being an asshole. Going on these fucking crazy rants that if everything is not properly Christian and heroic, then you are the devil or some bullshit. I don't even fucking know. The dude always struck me as a psycho. That's why I didn't interact with him. But this is how it goes. So in frustration, he leaks that to somebody else who leaks it to known doxer John Delarose. So that was part one. That happened at the exact same time. Now, for people who are accusing me of having a whisper network, all this bullshit seems kind of coordinated. I'm going to be honest. I can barely get 4 people together to play Sea of Thieves. The idea that I could manage an entire fucking whisper network is absolute bullshit. My relationships with my friends are actually pretty simple. I'll make a suggestion to them. And any of my friends can clarify this. I'll make a suggestion. They'll ignore it. Then it won't go the way that they want it to. And then I'll be sitting here in the corner, my arms crossed and tapping my foot, just waiting to say I told you so. But my friends are their own people. You know? That's basically it. Some people actually asking in the chat. Yeah, this is a guy that's trashing Magic Cop and the Zaid Boys. I like the Zaid Boys, too. They're from here in Illinois. They don't live too far from me, if I recall correctly. You know? I love those guys. They've been nothing but good to me. So to fucking... And by the way, he's trashing on behalf of some other dude who didn't want to fight with him. The dude who did Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. We talked about this last week, and I'll bring it back up. The fact of the matter is that the Zaid Boys have a following. People like them because they're likable people. Like, this isn't hard. And they have a concept that people like. Is it the greatest art you'll ever see? Not really. But it doesn't have to be, as long as the story's good. I've read comic books that don't have the greatest art that I've ever seen that have been phenomenal stories. You know? Some people just have art styles that are just an acquired taste. I think it's Ben Templesmith, the guy who did 30 Days of Night and also did the Dead Space comic, the first one that came with the game. It took me a while to get used to his art style. Now I love it because it took me a little bit to just kind of understand where he was going with things. Then when I did, I'm like, I'm there. So there's that. And then, like, I don't remember the name of the artist who does Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. He's a bit behind on his book, but he's doing it all himself, so I understand why. But that dude busted his ass to promote his comic. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. And that's what the Diaz brothers had to do. Say what you want about Phil and his brother, but man, they hustle. They work. They put in the time. They put in the fucking effort. And they make friends with people. I love those dudes. I need to have them on sometime. Because I'm excited about the things that they do. I especially love this series that Phil's doing, the Lost Pages. It's like, I remember him showing me this stuff. I'm just like, damn. This is fucking awesome. And I get it, Ultimate Agent, but this is something that was brought to me. This is not something that I'm not picking a fight here. This is people coming in on my territory. And normally my thing is this. Don't just stay off my fucking lawn. That's been my policy for months now. Just stay off my lawn if you're going to cause bullshit. I'm not interested in what everybody else is doing. Not really, unless it interests me, in which case I'll reach out and talk to them about it. But if there's burglary and shit going on out there, I don't give a flying fuck. As long as it's not directed at me. Well, you directed it at me. And you went further than that. You went after my fans. You went after their private conversations. You went after their privacy. Now, I'm not nervous because they didn't really get anything. But I know my fans are. What was it that EVS told the Donny Cates? You know, I'm not going to betray my fans by endorsing your behavior. I've got the exact same idea. I don't have the biggest stream in the world. I got 30 people watching right now. But I care about these people. I want to make sure they're taken care of. And if they're not taken care of, I do what I can to take care of it. I mean, you just saw that at the beginning of the show. Where's my book? Email Hatman. We're in the middle of fulfillment. We'll see what's going on. That's simple. Took time out of the broadcast to do that. It's just the kind of guy I am. Because I'm happy that these people are here. And I value their data. I value what's going on. So it's weird to me. People do this sort of shit. And then, now some of you might be saying, what are you talking about, Doxer? Well, some of you might have heard of this name. Some of you might not have. It's a gentleman I don't think I've actually ever interacted with, but I've heard nothing but nice things about him. A guy named Clint Stoker. He has a channel called Sweetcast. And this dude cranks out some good fucking books from what I'm seeing. I need to back the one he did, Fatal. I think it's still in demand. That one's like Charlie Snogans is doing the art on it. It looks fucking awesome. But yeah, this is the he's just a good Mormon dude making comics. From everything I hear about him, he's a prince. And somebody in the comments of one of his channels trashed John Delarose. Now, one thing about being a public figure is people are going to talk shit about you. You basically can't have a big ego about it. This is something I told Liam Gray over and over and over and over again. He never listened to me. It's just shit that's going to happen. Let him talk. The important thing is that you are being a good person. People will gravitate towards that. Clint is one of those guys I think understands that better than anybody. But because some dude in the comments, not even Clint himself, was doing that shit, and he wouldn't censor them, this is what he did. It says here, I'll be a little bit more firm. I've been nice to you, but I need to do this. Family is off limits, dude. Please delete this comment. Do not be a dick and play their game. I will blast you public as a person who supports hurting families over comic books if you don't do this. I'm going to be honest about something. I have my doubts that John Delarose's family is reading YouTube comments. Just my thoughts. I could be wrong there. Common decency and standards. This is my line. Don't push some free speech shit. I've seen John push that. That's weird. There is no world in which this is okay, nor is your enabling it okay. I don't care if you like me. Family is off limits. And right there, you can see the zip code is still there and the state. Right here, and I was talking to John Malin when this happened. Right here is Clint's address. It's been blacked out. If you want to fuck with me. John Delarose doxed Clint Stoker. I don't care what he says. He did it. It's right there. The evidence is right there in front of him. John Delarose is a doxer. This is the type of person that, for some reason, I don't know why DA Talks did this. Maybe just for the fun of the chaos. Directed him into my Discord server to try to fuck with people. This guy's a scumbag. And to be honest, I wish I had seen it sooner than I did. Because I made the mistake of letting John on my podcast once. And he was complimentary. You know, everything he said about me at that point was basically verbal fellatio. And as far as fellatio goes, 3 out of 10. But when it comes right down to it, this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. See, John Delarose is not a big man. He's a very short guy, about 5'2" from what I've been told. And he's pulling I guess he took the idea from me. He's hiding his second chin under a beard. So he's a short, little, chubby dude. People like that tend to constantly feel powerless around their own environments. I mean, basically what it is short man syndrome, Chihuahua syndrome, Napoleon complex, whatever you want to call it. The small dogs bark the loudest. This is barking. Attempting to threaten a family man over somebody getting mad at John in the YouTube comments. That's fucking childish, isn't it? Critical Blast actually makes a good point. No world is this okay when it's happening to me. Yeah, John is one of those guys that has a hard time reaching the top shelf. And it's oddly enough, he has the hard time reaching top shelf when it comes to quality of his work, too. He's had one good-looking book out of all the shit that he has shoveled on people for years now. Say, it's a funny coincidence. The top shelf is just something he will never reach without somebody else's help. But as it stands, this guy, that was his goal. And it wouldn't surprise me if my personal information shows up on Kiwi Farms in the next couple of days. Because he will probably pull the same shit with me for just having this stream right now. But the line for me is when you start putting out the personal information of other people. You start putting that out there. I was told, I don't know if this is true, if somebody in the chat saw it, you can confirm it. Apparently, he was on a live stream with a gentleman named Randy Haig, who goes by the name Testify. Now, Randy Haig is a known felon from Nevada. He was busted, I want to say, about 10 years ago, for, I think it was breaking and entering or something along those lines. And he's also been put in jail or something like that, or at least charged with writing bad checks. So not exactly a guy that's what I would call the type of people that you want to associate yourself with. But they were apparently saying that they know everybody that is backing Cider's campaign, Cider Hype, his campaign. What was it? The Colossals. That's it. Had to think about it. I should remember that. I was just on a stream with the kid. But how the fuck is he going to know that? And how the fuck are you going to sell comic books with that? Like, and this is the thing. Whenever it comes to fucking when it comes to doing business through Indiegogo, those are people sending you directly their addresses, expecting something to get mailed to them, provided that the perk that they're buying is not digital. So you're going onto streams and saying that you have access to all their personal information. Why would you even say that publicly? Why would you threaten people with that? Unless you intend to dox them. People on the internet take their privacy very seriously. If they didn't, VPNs wouldn't be such a big market right now. Not only do you fuck up yourself, you fuck up the other people around you. There's no coming back from that. You wonder why people don't trust you. You wonder why me and my friends don't like you. It's very simple. Very, very fucking simple. You're all a bunch of cunts. You're all a bunch of fucking scumbags. What part about that is hard to figure out? Seriously? Not to mention, nobody owes you a platform, because some of these people are just fucking mad at me because I won't let them onto a show, and they're mad at other people because they won't let them on either. We don't like you. You're douchebags. Stop being douchebags. This shit ain't hard. That's basically it. It's basically it. It's not difficult. And you're on a live stream apparently calling like people, members of my audience, hoes and shit. Yeah, that's a great way to win them over. Bravo. Golf clap for you. Totally not retarded. But that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with those kind of people. And I would encourage anybody who is watching this, if you are around these types of people, run away as fast as you can. It's that old story about the scorpion and the frog, you know. Some people just seem to forget that. When it comes right down to it, I'm the type of guy that just, again, is tired of getting into all the fucking wars and shit. It never really did a whole lot for my state of mind. And it doesn't do anything for anybody's state of mind, let's be honest. It doesn't improve your day. So, I don't get it. I'll never get it. I'll never understand doxing. I'll never understand trying to do this sort of shit. I'll never understand any of it. It's just childish behavior. I'm genuinely convinced these people act like they want to make money. Like, this is not the behavior of people who make money. I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about like the people at the top earners of Comicsgate. They don't do this shit. There's a reason that they make as much money as they do. They're not going to sit there and talk shit about their own audience or things along those lines. At least not to my record. They know that that's going to lose them money. You want there to be a welcome sign, not a fuck off sign. You know? These are the type of people we're dealing with. Not the brightest stars in the planetarium, if you know what I mean. So as it stands, I did what I had to do to go ahead and get rid of them. And that's really the end of it. Now, I don't think that this is going to end. They're going to continue to bother me. They're going to bother others. They're going to bother fucking anybody who works with me. They're going to bother anybody who's part of Graded and so on and so forth. And they're going to do this to try to divide things, because what they do is they do this to basically try to make people feel alone. Make everybody run away. But again, these are chihuahuas. They just bark. All they can go ahead and just... I don't know who this is. I think I know who this is. Chef's kiss, but... But as it stands, I'm not too worried about it. And there's a reason why. Because I've talked to some people lately. I'm going to be having some folks over. Next week, we've got a special guest coming on. Another friend of mine, Mandy Summers. We're talking about her book. But when it comes right down to it, there is a quote that I think people need to remember. I believe it went, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the blood of the womb. I have friends that are loyal to me because I'm loyal to them. I have friends that stick with me because I stick with them. And whenever things go crazy, I'm right there with them. Anytime they need me, I let them know that I'm there. That's basically it. I ain't worried about that. As for that Ron Christian guy, I think I understand why he probably blocked me on Twitter. Because I got what he wanted. Englewood Peregrine. I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. According to backer kit projections, we're due if people continue to back Englewood Book 2 on a regular basis up until the last week of the month. We are going to hit goal. But to make that possible, to give these people the finger, back this book. Link is in the description. Armand, my colorist, is in the chat right now. Somebody that, by the way, all three of JDA's fans tried to get him to poach from me. Sorry, buddy. People with, like, Armand works with people who are talented, so that's not you. Let's be honest here. But Englewood Peregrine is going to be a possibility if we get this book funded. That's the next thing that comes up. Once we fulfill Englewood Book 2, that's the campaign that we want to get launched. Brainbox has also put the link in the chat, so if you have not backed the book, please do so. Let's monetize these fucks. Show them what you think. So, monetize these fucking weirdos. Back this. Your data is safe with me, obviously. As I have shown you on this stream. You can't trust Toady. You can't. He doxed somebody. If he gets your fucking information, what's he going to do with it? Probably do the same thing to you if you say even one quasi-mean word to him. Me? The only thing I need your address for is to send you a damn good comic book. That is it. That's it. Because it pays to be a businessman, it does not pay to be a fucking sperg. Granted, it also pays to be above 6 feet tall, but yeah, it is what it is. So, with that said, curious what the chat thinks. Goodness. It's the thing about downside of running a business, right? Somebody's going to have one address of yours, right? This is my business partner, Hatman, for those who don't know him. Hatman's been with me for we've known each other for almost 10 years now, I think. When did the Great Meme War happen? 2012? So it'll be 10 years next year. No, it was after that. It was 2013. So 10 years and 2 years. We know each other about close to a decade. We've been buddies the whole time. You know, he's a great business partner. So. Thanks, buddy. Oh, GG was 2014. My bad. So it's still like 7 years. It's weird. 7 years has gone by since Hatman and I have known each other. And we've been business partners for 4 of them. So we got you covered. You're safe with us. That's the important thing. Can't say that for John De La Rose. Can't say that for Testify. I actually feel bad for Cider Hype. I really do. Because when it comes right down to it, that kid's getting fucked over by these assholes' behavior. Cider, run. Get the fuck out of there. Seriously, dude. You didn't listen to my advice before. Listen to it now. I'm throwing you a bone. Get out of there. You cannot sell comics with people that are threatening people with other people's information. Get the fuck out of there, dude. So, when it comes right down to it, be good to people. Be excellent to one another. Like, why is that hard? The only people I usually don't like are people who are cunts. It's basically it. As long as you're good to me, I'm good to you. If the opposite happens, well, that sucks. Oh, I'm fully aware that the midget is stream sniping me. I really don't care. I really don't care. I imagine he's probably seething. Because he doxes people. John, why'd you do this? Why'd you dox Clint Stoker? Why'd you threaten to dox Mrs. Biggins? Like, you talk all this shit about family. You threaten to dox another man's wife. Then their info shows up on Kiwi Farms a couple days later. I don't think that's a coincidence. Could be wrong, but doesn't sound like one to me. What the fuck do you do that for? Fucking psycho. They made fun of me. Stop being a fucking robot. Get some nuts and a pair of stilts. You can imitate being a man. All right. Enough of the retards. We got other stuff to talk about. Let's Edwin, you're here. How's the Hawaii Republican Party doing, bud? How'd that go? If only I had the cocaine button. Yeah, that's Edwin. Let's move on. Got other stuff to talk about. Schemes and scams. You're famous, Edwin. Look. Is that the schemes and scams guy? Fuck off, dude. Chaos Sonic apparently sent me something through StreamYards or Streamlabs. Me just a second here. I could pull up the YouTube video for Edwin. Going from 4 to 5 is not that much of an increase. Numbers matter, not percentage, when it comes to votes. Again, you're trying to play chess when you should be playing checkers, bud. All right. Chaos Sonic 3 in a Bucket said, since we're talking about Marvel, what's your favorite obscure Marvel character? Beta Ray Bill doesn't count. Damn you. That is a really good question, though. I would have to say Black Tarantula. Was Edwin timed out for merely showing up? No, he's timed out for basically encouraging the cancellation of Kelsey Shannon. I don't tolerate that shit. But I let him stick around for a little bit just to make fun of him. You and Mike ought to be ashamed of yourselves for that shit, by the way. Because holy fuck. Holy fuck, dude. Like, seriously, Edwin. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. But the simple fact that a hardworking guy like Kelsey Shannon, for saying, I like pussy, and you took that out of context thinking that it was about George Alexopoulos. You did that. You're a fucking scumbag. Not only that, what you did could have affected the income of a lot of other people. I don't agree with everything that Mitch and Betty Brightweister have done, but Jesus, tap dancing Christ. What the hell is wrong with you? I'll let you in the door for 5 minutes just to make fun of you. You can stay away now. I got nothing else to say to you. I'm using simple words because I worry you'd get confused. Now, let's get on to the topic. So, Marvel comic book writers who inspire MCU only get 5,000 in a premiere invite report. This is interesting. I don't know many people who worked for Marvel, sadly, because I would like a little bit more context on this. But this completely went under my nose here. There's been interesting stuff going on within the comic book industry for years, right? There's a lot of really weird shit that's gone on. And obviously COVID hit them incredibly hard. So things have had to go in different directions. Distributors have been changed. Diamond doesn't have the stranglehold on the industry that it used to, so on and so forth. But now we're finding out some more stuff here. So to read this, at the end of March, during the debut run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, comic book writer Ed Brubaker published a newsletter, which he said the show and buzz around it were making him feel a little bit sick to his stomach. Brubaker co-created the Winter Soldier character in 2005 along with artist Steve Epting. While the MCU and actor Sebastian Stan have popularized the character across the world, Brubaker wrote that all Steve Epting and I have gotten for creating the Winter Soldier and his storyline is a thanks here or there. Over the years, it's become harder and harder to live with. Brubaker exposed a common issue at Marvel. Work-for-hire comic book writers and artists don't get compensated for creating characters and storylines, now propelling the MCU on film and television. So this sounds to me... real quick. Yeah. This sounds to me like they don't have a royalty structure. Or if they do, it's like fucking barely there. And that sucks. Because here's the thing. Obviously, my career in comic books as it stands is very young. I'm in year 2, for God's sake. But I own all of my characters. Any profits that are earned go to me. So as it stands, the more successful that the comics get, the more money I'm going to make, right? Well, if I was working for one of the big two, let's say there's an alternate universe somewhere where it's the same as it is now, but politics were different. I got hired to Marvel, right? I create some demon that shows up in Ghost Rider. That character shows up in a movie. I better get some fucking money for that. That's my creation. I better get something. Because at the end of the day, people look it up on Wikipedia, when people look it up anywhere, they're like, who created this character? Well, here's the name. Sort of like with Thanos here. Jim Starlin created him. And Starlin should get a piece of that, honestly. And I'm praying, I don't know, I'm praying he got paid well with Infinity War and all that other shit. Because this was a character that basically went from a D-list, even Z-list character, all the way up to one of the most notable comic book villains in history over the course of 5 years. Maybe even less time, depending on your perspective. That's insane. You should get paid for that. You know? Okay, so Hatman, did you ask him this? Settle the payout with Marvel. Well, yeah, and that's... wrong one. This is a good point. You need to go negotiate contract well in advance. This is something that is sort of something I really wish more people knew, because I'll admit, anytime I've been contracted for work, I'm incredibly, incredibly tough whenever it comes to the negotiations. The simple idea that he wouldn't get a slice for that bugs the shit out of me. And now what we have, so we have a bunch of writers that are now going to Substack to do independent comics. And I guess just hosting them online, just doing digital. I don't know. I would hope that they're going to have some sort of structure to get people physical books too, because this is art. It should be printed. It should be in a physical medium. Not saying don't do digital comics, but it's something that's the way it should be done. You know, people like physical media when it comes to this. People like the book. They like to hold the book and fucking read it. If they didn't, I wouldn't have these Devilman volumes here and all this other shit and all the comics down here and so on and so forth. You know, admittedly, I own more digital stuff than I do physical, but the gap is shrinking. You know? But as it stands, this is generally something that is fucked up, because it's going to affect the industry in two different ways. So what you're going to start seeing is and this is my prediction. I think that what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up seeing a bunch of seasoned writers get just as upset as Brubaker is and start going to the places they're going to pay them more. And they're going to do independent work because the contract will probably be better. And as such, they're going to go over there and make a lot more money. And by the way, some of the people that I've heard, like, I think Brubaker is one of them. What's his name? I always forget his fucking name. Christopher Hitchens. No, fuck. Wow, where did I get Christopher Hitchens? Why am I forgetting his name? Brian Hitch is the one that I'm thinking of, but it's a writer, not a fucking artist. Having a bit of nominal aphasia. Blah, 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 blah. Christopher Priest should, because he definitely is one guy who deserves to get paid more than he is. Jonathan Hickman, thank you. Jonathan Hickman is going over there. He had a great independent book called East of West that I fucking adore. What else? Like, and there's other ones I'm forgetting as well, but that's what they're going to do, because at the end of the day, not all these people are protesters, for better or worse. They're going to go where the money is, you know. They're going to go where the cash is. That's basically it, because they've got families to think of, and so on and so forth. And that's basically how it's going to go. Most people in businesses follow the money. So, but Marvel's underpaying, but they have this roster of incredibly well-known characters. Who do you think's going to go there to write? Those very protesters who have been ruining the industry up to this point. So what I am predicting, obviously, is people who are money-focused are going to go where the money is. The people who are narrative-focused, and by that I mean political narrative, they're going to start going to Marvel. They're going to start going to DC in droves. Meaning that the mainstream, the big two, is only going to get worse from here. And that's what really sucks. It's basically going to be something that could end up being good for the independent movement, where there's more places to get comic books. There's more places to get interesting stories. And those artists aren't going to have a nutty editorial board on them, pressuring them to do a bunch of bullshit, right? On the flip side, you're getting all these people that don't really care if they make $60, $70, $80, $90,000 a year, going to these bigger imprints, getting underpaid like a motherfucker, and then basically shitting on the entire industry because they're more interested in, as I usually say, making DNC pamphlets than they are actually making good comic books. So it is a shit show, sadly. But then again, it's a shit show that Marvel created. The fact of the matter is that people should have this sort of an incentive structure whenever it comes to their creations. They should. You know? It's nice to own shit. It is. I can speak from experience. It's nice to own shit. It's nice to own your brand. It's nice to own these things. And at least have some sort of stake in regards to the characters that you create with these bigger companies. Because that's what's going to drive the stories forward, is creating new and interesting characters that people want to read and interact with the characters that have already been established by that brand beforehand. So that's basically the long and short of it. What I am hoping is that indie comics continue to get better. I already think we're in a pretty good spot as a whole. I think there's a lot of really good stuff out there. But again, the big two still pull in more money than anywhere else in the industry. Most of it's coming from graphic novels and fucking back issues, but that's still the bulk of it. What happens when we reach a point that it's just going away? I don't want to see this industry end. You know? Now it could end up going the way of the it could end up going the way of the dodo. It could end up going the way of Blockbuster for all I know. But I don't want to see that happen. At least not in my lifetime. Shit. But that's That's just the way that it is. Because the unfortunate thing is Marvel's not going to hire anybody off the independent circuit to come write for them that that is going to be focused on actually writing good characters. It's just not going to happen. And it sucks. Because they could be making money hand over fist with some of the writers that are going to Substack, by the way. But it's just not happening. And again, it's fucking stupid. It's bad business. I don't understand why they do it the way that they do it. But that's the way that it goes. So, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But dumb Tish. I like it. Good puns are nice. But it's just weird to see the industry start going in this direction to me. It really is. But we'll just have to see what happens. This is actually a good point that Hatman makes, because this is what happened to Invincible. So many good books got picked up by a major network or producer. Sales will go up for the source material like it did for Marvel and DC. That is true. But one thing you'll notice, though, is that like no modern ideas have really been started to be used until Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And that was a series that was celebrated by the press, but it didn't really move the needle, having a black Captain America. It just didn't. It was apathy. And that, honestly, whenever it comes from your consumer base, is the worst thing you can have. Most of these major companies would rather have people be mad, I would assume. Because at least people are talking, right? But if people are apathetic to it, people just don't care, it's not good. Then again, you shouldn't prioritize political stunts over quality of product, ever. But that's all they're doing. That's the whole thing with the turning Robin gay thing and so on, or bi. But that's all it is. Political stunts. It's unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate. All right. Final one. Because sadly there won't be a podcast tomorrow. I will be out of town the whole weekend. So no podcast this weekend whatsoever. My youngest sister had her wedding, but couldn't do the reception because of COVID rules. Well, Illinois now is mostly open, right? So now we can do the reception. So I got to go there and give a speech. And basically that's on Saturday. On Friday, I got a bus trip, and then Sunday is the bus trip back. I'm probably not going to get back in time, or else I would love to. But so I got to do my review for the week now. And the Suicide Squad. This is something that I was a little surprised by. Because I wasn't sure what to make of it. I do have one thing to say, though. Raise your hand if you are the most entertaining thing that the DC Extended Universe has seen in forever. Yeah. King Shark is awesome. So, my relationship with the DCEU has been that of apathy. Honestly, it has been apathy, absolute apathy, because I didn't like, Man of Steel, I'm back and forth on. It's got some good elements. It's got some elements that I don't like. When it comes to Batman v Superman, I hated it. Still hate it. I watched the extended cut, hated it even more. Didn't like Justice League. Liked Wonder Woman. Watched the Snyder cut. I'm not really a fan of that one either. And then, but after after Justice League, like, I've assumed that it's doomed. I can make a rhyme anytime. But I've assumed that it was done for. That's like, how the fuck are they going to rebound from this? Like, this is just not where it needs to be. And then they put James Wan in charge, and ever since then, it seems like things have been going back up. Now, I have not watched Aquaman. Man, I will not watch Shazam. Okay, we're good. But what I going into this, I was just like, I don't know what to think about it, because I looked at the roster of characters. They've got just a bunch of them that you've never heard of, you know, and I'm like, I don't know what to really do about this. But then again, the basic gimmick with the Suicide Squad, and also with hiring James Gunn to do it, is you've got somebody who can take an obscure character and find a way to make them lovable. It's going to change them from the comic book in some way, but it's going to be interesting, if nothing else. Chaos Sonic threw in a buck and said, since you say no podcast tomorrow, I'll try to send you my thoughts on Darkhawk or Nova. Any good way of incorporating them into the MCU and fixing the MCU. That is a whole topic. So I'll just put it short. I'd be cool with Darkhawk. That would be interesting. Same with Nova if they do Richard Rider. But again, the big thing with the MCU is they can't put politicization first. They need to put the audience first, you know, or else it's not going to be what it used to be. Because it used to be an audience focused brand, and now it's starting to move away from that. And the more that they do that, the less money they're going to make, you know. But anyway, hell yeah. Kite Man, hell yeah. But one of the good things about Tom King's run on Batman is the redemption of Kite Man. But anyway, so what we have with the Suicide Squad is James Gunn making the most violent movie that he has made since Slither, I think. Let me look at his filmography real quick. That he was a director on, because I know that he's like produced movies. Like he produced the Belko Experiment. Yeah, Slither was the last one that he did that was really, really fucking gory. But yeah, it's the goriest one that he has directed since then. You know, he produced Brightburn, which was very violent. But yeah, he's he's directing the Suicide Squad, and the character cast was an interesting pick. Harley Quinn comes back because she's gonna be your moneymaker. Let's be honest. She couldn't sell Birds of Prey, but you put Harley Quinn in a Suicide Squad film, it's gonna sell. At least as best as it can, or people are gonna watch it. You know, with the HBO Max and the theaters not being open and all the other issues, the thing basically flopped, sadly. But you have Idris Elba as Bloodsport, which a character they basically had to reinvent. John Cena as Peacemaker, a old fucking character that they basically treated like an old character, but really fucking weird. And because it's John Cena playing him, it works. Yeah, Joel Kinnaman coming back as Rick Flag. I like him as Rick Flag quite a bit, actually. So I didn't hate the first Suicide Squad. You know. So I just didn't. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I didn't like it either. But Rick Flag returns. Then Sly Stallone was the voice of my boy here. King Shark. And Viola Davis came back as Amanda Waller. And that's really kind of all to really say. Wait, and then there was a newer girl who played the new rat catcher. And she was really good. I liked her a lot. The big thing about it, when I look back at it, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to say this. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I'm surprised how much I liked it. I didn't know if I would. Because I didn't know if basically trying to make Guardians of the Suicide Squad with a shit ton of gore was really going to be a good movie. You know, it's, you know, I have no clue. I have no clue where that's going to go, but it ended up working. It ended up being oddly done well. But then again, I think a lot of it comes from Gunn's formula. Basically what you do is you take a bunch of B-list characters, you attach good actors to them, and then let them have fun. And that was the one thing that I could tell through watching this. The actors had fun doing this. They really enjoyed playing these characters. They really enjoyed being in this movie. They enjoyed the experience of it, so on and so forth. And that, at least from what I have seen, now I know not everybody likes James Gunn because he's a fucking weirdo, but he's a talented director. And people that have worked with him have had nothing but kind things to say about him. So when it comes right down to it, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is the kind of guy that I get the feeling from the way actors talk about him, he's really fun to work with. And that is why his movies have been as good as they are. You know, because I don't think of the movies of his that I have seen, I like all of them, which I've seen not many. I saw Slither a long time ago. Then Guardians, Belko Experiment he wrote, but that was still good. Guardian, you know, both Guardians movies, and now the Suicide Squad. But you get that vibe that, like, he's just one of those directors really easy to work with. And as such, there's a lot of chemistry on set. And basically what you end up getting is a fun story that is bloody as fuck, but at the same time has a lot more of what I would call good chemistry. And that, I think, is what carries this movie, really. Because the story is kind of simple. It's like Suicide Squad goes to island to overthrow dictator. That's it. Hijinks ensue. And it has the same sort of humor that you will expect from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's that James Gunn style of humor. So if you liked it before, you're going to like it now. But it's really fucking gory. I mean, some of the kills in this are fucking brutal. I mean, there's one where King Shark, like, grabs a dude by his midsection and just rips the fucker in half. Like a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality. And it's gruesome as shit. I was like, whoa. But on the flip side, you have a lot of fun in regards to everything that's going on during the course of it. You know, the characters are enjoyable. You enjoy watching them on screen. And when it gets serious, Gunn is one of those directors that can also do serious very well when he needs to. And boy, howdy did he do it. So like I said, some of the shit with Peacemaker is really good. But a lot of the stuff with Idris Elba is really good. But that's Idris Elba. If Idris Elba is in a movie and he's not good, it's weird, you know. But as I have to, you know, when it comes right down to it, man, it is just fucking fantastic. So when it comes right down to it, it's enjoyable. If you have HBO Max, I say go watch it, you know, or if you want the theater experience, go to the theater and go enjoy. So, excuse me, I'm hoping between streaming and box office, this movie can make its money back, because I would like to see the characters that survive this return in a movie together. You know, I want another Suicide Squad movie after this. That's the big thing. this basically told me that if it's successful, this is one that DC could lean on to really get people talking about how good they can be, you know? So, so yeah, I dug it. I dug it a lot more than I thought it would. Honestly, I'm still kind of surprised at how much I liked it. So, all right. Final bit of the day. Q&A. Time. No, we're back. Okay. Had a little bit of an internet hiccup. That was weird. But anyway, Q&A. Time to see what people can. Speaking of Fantastic, is there going to be another Fantastic Four movie? That's the rumor. Disney now has the license back, so they should be able to do it. No, it's my internet. Sorry. They're storming through Illinois right now, so that's why. EVA 3.0 plus 1.0 coverage in its show. Tell me how to watch it, and I will. This Chozo makes a prediction, says it's going to suck. I don't know, man. It's going to depend on the casting, I think. Oh. Well, now I know what I'm watching on the way to my destination. Greyhound has free internet. But I heard about this too. And I'm really hoping that they don't recast too many people. Well, no. Scratch that. Scratch that. Don't recast Wolverine unless you have to. If Hugh Jackman wants to play him again, you let him do it, damn it. The best way to handle the sensitive topic of abortion survivor being the world's biggest punching bag without coming across as preachy or super edgy. Well, it's not something I would dwell on. You have it be part of the backstory, but you don't focus on it. You know, because touching abortion at all in any way is going to get people pissed off at you. Well, Dean, why'd you tell a known doxer about my server, dude? Why'd you suggest that to him? That's fucked up, man. I think that this is the first time I've seen you in my chat. We've only spoken once, to my recollection. Unless there's something else that happened. I don't know what the deal is there. I do my own shit, dude. Don't get me involved in all these fucking wars. I don't care anymore. But one character that basically was born of a corpse. It's Guts back here. But it's barely ever brought up. You know? Sorry, somebody messaged me real quick. So that would be my suggestion. But one thing I would say, if prospective readers are already telling you that they're not liking it, it wouldn't be something I would hold on to as a writer, because some ideas just don't work, you know. Because at the end of the day, the story is what, like, or the reader is what matters. Entertaining the reader. That's why you tell stories, is to entertain people. And if they're not entertained by it, there's no point in continually forcing that in, you know. So it might, like, if you're testing the story with audiences and they're saying this is stupid, you might want to throw it out. It's just something to consider. I'm not saying your story is shit. I haven't read it and I don't have time to read it. So, but it's just something to consider. From, you know, that's my bit of advice as a writer. Yeah, I would too. No, born of a corpse. He basically fell out of his mother's womb while his mother was hung. And we don't know why it happened. But he was alive. So. Let's not do political questions, guys, just because I'm not doing the podcast tomorrow. Because this is supposed to be a comic book show, and I want to keep it that way. So. Have a good night, Gabe the Gen. Yeah, Berserk is fucking hardcore with it. I mean, they illustrate it. So. Berserk and hardcore are always two things that'll go together. So, what else we got? My neck's a little tense. Hate it when that happens. I've been sitting here too long. An interesting one. The rumor, apparently Scott Eastwood might end up playing Wolverine. Your thoughts? I'm not familiar with him. Let me look him up. Oh, that's Clint Eastwood's kid. Shit, that's right. Who has he played? God, I didn't realize he was my age. He doesn't really look like a Wolverine. He looks like Captain America. I'm looking through his filmography here. Have I... Lieutenant GQ Edwards in Suicide Squad. Who was Lieutenant GQ Edwards? I don't even remember. But a lot of his other stuff, Trey Harmful. Who was he in? Because he's credited in Gran Torino. Was he the kid in Gran Torino where Clint Eastwood says, "Run your old fay patty ass down the road"? Was that him? Because if he's saying that to his own kid, that's fucking hilarious. But I haven't seen enough of him acting to really speak to it. I mean, he has that handsome face, that superhero face, right? So he could work, you know, but I can't speak to his acting ability. So. I definitely did not stretch my neck out very well when I woke up. Now I'm paying for it. Let's see here. Warner scatters the DC properties to the wind after restructuring. Do you think indies would option the characters for standalones? I don't know, honestly. I mean, that's something that people have thought for years, is the idea of them going to smaller publishers to do certain books. I mean, I think that one of them got a Spider-Man book. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, either way, at the end of the day, whether they contact a smaller publisher to publish these stories or they continue to have them, they're not going to sell if they don't have good writers, and if they don't have good artists. There's a lot of talented ones out there that you just don't want to shell out the fucking money for. It wouldn't surprise me if the reason that the guy who did the art for Invincible, when he started doing Spider-Man, as a character he was born to draw, it wouldn't surprise me if the reason that he wasn't doing the book monthly is because he's too expensive. They ended up hiring somebody else instead. Let's see here. Did you know Josh Keaton will be the voice of Zombie Hunter Spider-Man in Marvel's What If show? What do you think about this? We've played him before. That spectacular Spider-Man show from ages ago, that was Josh Keaton. Josh is a really good Spider-Man voice actor. The only one that I think I like as much as him is the guy who did him in the most recent video games. It's the same dude who did Sasuke Uchiha in Naruto. His name escapes me at the moment. But I just remember I'm blocked by that guy because he said something about Spider-Man not wanting you to own a gun. I said, but Yuri Lowenthal, thank you. And I went, I quote tweeted him and I went, but Spider-Man never has told people not to own a gun in the comics. And blocked. So, because he hasn't, at least not to my knowledge. I don't recall Spidey ever being as anti-gun as Batman. It's just he doesn't need them because he's fucking Spider-Man. So. What else we got, guys? Been speculation about who Tony sold Stark Tower to. Theories of Norman or Reed. Norman would be the better pick of the two. Just because Spider-Man is who they should be strapping the rocket to. It would be a nice little dig at him because Tony was his mentor. So that's my thoughts anyway. So anime guy, I'm going to give you some harsh advice. Very harsh advice. So I hope you're ready for this. If a character has a backstory that readers do not like, and your beta readers are telling you that they don't like it, the people that could buy your story, that is something you have to consider changing. And if you are confident in your abilities as a writer, you can change that backstory and still make that character as compelling as you think he is right now. That is the mark of a good writer. Well, there's several marks of a good writer, but that's one of them. Because sometimes things have to be changed. Because they don't work. For whatever reason. So you have to have confidence in your own skills. You have to have confidence in your ability to craft the character. And if this isn't working, you just figure something else out. That's basically it. There's a lot of ways that you can craft a character that has deformation. War wounds, genetics, like you said, it's not late. There's nothing lazy about that. Think of how he would have had to grow up. That's a shitty way to grow up, dude. Like, that's going to cause pain and struggle because everybody's going to treat him like a fucking mute. YouTube sucks sometimes, dude. Every time I try to stream on YouTube, I always have connection issues. Whenever I go on Twitch, I don't have these problems. Whenever I'm on YouTube, problems. This platform is fucking awful. Anyway, so I find funny. I know, right? But anyway, what I was basically saying was, there are dozens of ways to make a character tragic. You don't have to go all the way to fucking abortion survivor to do that for people to identify with it. Because at the end of the day, that might be too far. These things do exist, oddly enough, you know. So, what else we got? Yeah, if the exact trauma isn't specifically vital to the character or story, it can be changed. Do not get hung up on these things. The Saint of Englewood is a character that took me a long time to get right. And even then, I was worried about the specifics of his origin actually being a little too edgy. And when I got there, it wasn't. So, it is what it is. It's just one of those things. If people aren't vibing with it, the character's not going to go anywhere. And then on top of that, Project Lazarus, whenever I get that book sorted out and whenever it's out there, you got to keep something in mind. That's a character. Those are characters I crafted 10 years ago. And now are completely different from when I started with them. So, don't, it's like, I have to retool this character. Don't think that it's the end of the world. It's not. It's just the start. A lot of artists go back to the drawing board over and over and over and over again. If there's any artists in the chat that can speak to that, I would appreciate if you would let Anime Guy know that so he knows he's not alone. So, what else we got here? I'll just say that. Saint versus Moon Knight. Who would win and why? Oh, God. That's a tough one. I don't want to sound up my own ass, but the Saint is meant to be the Batman of his universe, in a sense, or the Captain America, depending on your perspective. Like, he's the top guy of all of the martial artists. Moon Knight in his universe is not. Not to mention, the Saint is bigger as a person. He's 6'4". He's a substantially large human being. He's bigger than me. How tall is Moon Knight? Like, he'd be at a significant size disadvantage. .6'2". Yeah, he's outweighed by the Saint by 15 pounds, and he's 2 inches shorter. So fighting him would be fucking exhausting. But yeah, like that would be a very hard fight for Moon Knight. Though as of right now, Moon Knight has better technology. So that could end up making a difference. But in a fisticuffs, so you better finish him quick, or else he's going to get tired. I got to take off soon, guys. I got a bunch of shit I got to do tonight. So, not the last one threw in $5 and said, it might be the minority for this, but the Suicide Squad out of all the DCU movies felt Not only joyful, but heroic, which is so weird because it's about a bunch of villains killing people, you know? But it's fun. So, let's see what else we got. I'll answer a few more questions real quick. Everybody goes for lethal blows, except for people who don't. So a crime fighter is going to be used to people going for lethal blows. That's something that needs to be stated. Like Spider-Man constantly fights people that go for lethal blows. Batman fights people that go for lethal blows. The Red Hood goes against people that fight. You seeing the pattern here? Like that's just a superhero thing. It's not something that really matters in combat. You know, at the end of the day, what matters is who's more skilled. If somebody knows that somebody else is trying to kill them, they're going to prepare for that. Thank you for helping me find a music genre for my character. Tried listening to the songs you recommended me. I don't get a cold feel from them, but the instrumental is good. Well, everybody's got different perspectives on it. I mean, whenever I listen to Gothenburg death metal, I feel that cold. You know, I really do. It's just that shiver that goes down my spine. So, but I'm glad I could help. And final question, because this won't take long. Do you think Shang-Chi will do well in theaters? I don't see it doing well. I don't think the Chinese market is not interested. I think people in general just aren't interested in it. And there's nothing to make that film substantial. Now, we had a long talk about it last week, so I would just catch last week's episode. But long story short, that's just not something that I see being successful. So, all right, guys, I'm going to take off. It is late. It's very warm in here. And I'm kind of tired. I just woke up, so I need to get some caffeine in my system, I think. Before we go, it's kind of obvious people don't want this book to happen. Kind of obvious people don't want this crossover to happen. This is something that some of these people wanted, but they're not getting. You know, they wanted to be the one in the crossover. They wanted their character there, but it's not. It's mine. That's why some people are targeting me. Other people are targeting me because I stood up to them. Because I don't like doxers. Fuck them. You know? Somebody already backed Englewood during the stream, but if you haven't backed Englewood Book 2 yet, please do so. Next week, like I said, we're going to have Mandy Summers on to talk about her book as well, plus other fun stuff. So, and hopefully Peter Gilmore, the artist, will be here too. So, I'm going to take off and try to enjoy the rest of my night because I still got articles to write and all this other shit. So, with all that said, my name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. Hope you all have a good night, except for the fucking assholes out there.